Okay, in this video, this is aimed at people who do not do any kind of diet artificial sweetener sodas or drinks. This is for people like me that if you're going to have a soda, you're going to have a real soda, like my favorite Virgil's root beer. It's made with real sugar, not aspartame, not NutraSweet, not whatever, sucralose. But again, they also say, sugar is not good for you. And in this case, it's 160 calories a bottle, 12-ounce bottle. And for whatever reason, if you're trying to cut back on sugar in your diet, especially added sugars like in sodas, and you still just don't want to give up your soda, then I have an idea you can try that will substantially cut back on the amount of sugar you're taking in, but you can still have that sugary sweetness thing of a pseudo soda. And what I mean by that is you have so many choices available. Like Polar makes tons of flavors. Black cherry is a good one I like. Orange vanilla, or probably the most popular one people know of is LaCroix. They have tons of different flavors. This is just basic orange. I like their coconut. I like their mango, etc., etc. And these are pretty good. Some people don't like them because there's no sugar at all, but yet there's like that flavor. I don't know how they put it in there, but somehow it's in there and there's no calories to it, no sugar or anything. However, if you watch my other video on how to make simple syrup, in simple syrup, cool fact about simple syrup is the sucrose in the sugar actually breaks down into glucose and fructose. And what you would do is you could cut back 50% or even 75% of the amount of sugar in a can of soda or bottle of soda by substituting it with a sparkling water of your choice with just a little simple syrup added. And what I mean by that is, and I did the science math, I'll show you that in a minute on how I came to the conclusion of how many calories or equivalent of regular sugar is in like a teaspoon or tablespoon of simple syrup as it would be to straight sugar. So in this case, you would use, say, like a full can, and to make it 50% of the amount of sugar that a normal soda would have, you would use 2 tablespoons. Obviously, 1 tablespoon or 3 teaspoons would be 25% of the standard amount of sugar. And on the next bit here, I'll explain on how I show that based on how much sugar is in a normal bottle of soda or can of soda versus how many grams or teaspoons or tablespoons or however you want to measure it, how much sugar will be in when you use the simple syrup and the amounts I tell you. So when I made this simple syrup, it was a cup of water to a cup of sugar, but this one actually has markings on it. And here's a cup, or 8 ounces, and right there. And basically this measures at 10.5 ounces. So to do the math, it comes out, I'll show you how I got this, that it's about 76% more diluted than the equivalent measurement of sugar. So if you scooped out a teaspoon of raw sugar, it would be about 16 calories. But if you did a teaspoon of the simple syrup, it would be 12 calories. So the average soda has 8.5 to 10 teaspoons of sugar in a 12-ounce soda. So we'll just say it's 9 or 3 tablespoons. So 2 tablespoons of simple syrup would equal half the amount of sugar. Because again, you remember it's only about 75% per each tablespoon of raw sugar. That way, 2 tablespoons into a 12-ounce bottle of sparkling water will be 50% of the amount of sugar than an equivalent soda would be on average. And what you may not realize is over time, your taste buds will change and the reduced amount of sugar will taste normal to you. So if you go back and have a regular soda, you might think it's really overly sweet. And that said, after a while, maybe you can get down to just 1 tablespoon per 12.
Alright, so either you're just watching this as my standalone video, or this is the extension of my somewhat long-winded video on explaining how to use simple syrup to cut down your sugar intake from sodas. So this is my math breakdown on how to explain where I got my numbers from substituting a sugared soda for simple syrup flavored sparkling water. So your basic unit of measure, there's 3 teaspoons in a tablespoon. There's 16 tablespoons in a cup, or 48 teaspoons in a cup. And I used a cup of sugar and a cup of water to make the simple syrup in this example. Now the number of calories in a teaspoon of raw sugar is 16, and the number of calories in a teaspoon of the simple syrup is only 12, or 25% fewer calories per each unit of measure. Now your average soda has 8.5 to 10 teaspoons of sugar, but for simplicity's sake we're going to take the average of 9 teaspoons of sugar per 12-ounce soda, or 145 calories. Typically what you find in like a can of Coke or Pepsi. Now the root beer there has a little more at 160 or 10 teaspoons, but we're going to just go with 9 to keep things simple. Now 1 cup of raw sugar is 765 calories, or 48 teaspoons. Now because we have more volume with the simple syrup, it's still the same number of calories, but it's spread out over a greater liquid volume. And if you measured it out all together, it'd be about 64 teaspoons. So with the volume being greater, the caloric energy per unit is less. So you'd be 8 divided by 10.5 is 75%, which means a teaspoon of simple syrup will have 25% less calories than the same teaspoon of raw sugar. So let's break that down by calories. Remember, 2 tablespoons of simple syrup would only equal 1.5 tablespoons of sugar, because 75% times 2 is 1.5. Tablespoon of sugar is about 48 calories, whereas a tablespoon of simple syrup is going to be 36. So 2 tablespoons of simple syrup and a 12-ounce can of the fizzy water would be about 70 to 75 calories, or half of that of a regular soda. So this is how you can cut back on your sugar intake without going cold turkey, which actually if you can do, I would encourage that, but that's not what this video is about. So based on our math, cut your sugar in half, or 50%, you add 2 tablespoons of simple syrup to a can of your fizzy water of choice. And once you get used to that, because your taste buds will adjust, you can try cutting it back to 1 tablespoon of simple syrup and see how you manage there. And that would be just 25% of the calories as a regular soda. So this is how you can cut your sugar consumption from sodas by 50 to 75%, simply by making your own simple syrup and selecting from a wide variety of flavored waters out there. Or if you're doing your own custom flavored simple syrups, you can just add those to plain fizzy water. Or here's an idea: if you're feeling really adventurous or scientific, experimental, you could take a flavored simple syrup and mix it with a different flavored sparkling water and come up with an entirely new flavor altogether. Well, I hope you found this entertaining or informative, and thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and if you care to, leave a comment. Thank you.